research shows that people who have a hobby in life are happier and healthier and more successful. Wood carving is a hobby that I have come to enjoy. We started taking lessons about a year and a half ago, so although I'm not an expert, I can definitely teach the basics to anybody who wants to learn. So let's get started with the history of wood carving. This area in northern Maine has a lot of wood carvers. My teacher is a fourth generation wood carver, in fact, so it's been around for a long time. He remembers his mom figuring out something that she needed in the kitchen and going out to the backyard and finding a piece of wood and whittling it into whatever she needed. So it's a useful hobby. It's not just something to waste time. So you can do a lot with it. Let's start with the tools. Your Flex Cut is a really great brand that was recommended to me when we first started, and I've really enjoyed these. These tools are about a year and a half old, and we sharpen them about once a month. So there's a lot of different kinds of tools in this beginner's kit. You'll get everything that you need to really delve into the hobby and get what you want out of it. So you'll get a bunch of different gouges, is what they call them, and V-tools, which is they're all used for different kinds of things. We'll kind of go over that when we get into projects. You'll also get a knife that's used for stop cuts, which are gonna kind of make edges, good clean edges in your projects. So the first thing you want to do is you want to get a piece of wood. We use basswood mostly in wood carving because it's a softer wood. You can also use another type of wood called beechnut, and it is a good type of wood as well, and it has more of a grain. It tends to crack a little more, so basswood is the best kind of wood. You can get wood anywhere. We get ours online or from our teacher, so you can order it online and it's fairly cheap. But you can get it at different varying thicknesses. You can get it with the bark on it. You can get it with the edges routed. There's a lot of different ways you can get wood, so kind of whatever you want. You can get it in blocks if you're going to do like a free standing piece instead of like an artistic project. So if you don't want to do, you can either do a nice piece of artwork, or you can do something like a spoon or a bowl, something that's going to be really maybe helpful for you. But you just need to have access to somebody who can cut, or if you have a tool that you can cut out a rough outline of whatever you want to carve. So you can just dig out, you just need a rough outline, and then you can use your tools to dig out where you want. So we've kind of went over our tools. Let's move on to actually getting your project onto your wood. You want to pick a pattern. Your pattern, you really want to be a picture of a finished wood carving project. I promise it will help you. Besides just picking like some picture that you really like, it's going to be hard to tell where your, at least when you're beginning, it's going to be hard to tell where your valleys are. So pick a project that is a picture of a wood carving project that's finished. You're going to want to get carbon paper. You're going to put the carbon paper black side down onto your project. You're going to take your project, put your project over, pin all four sides, and then just trace. So when you take it off, you'll have a picture kind of like this. Bottom half, you can see where we've traced the picture onto the wood. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take your stop cutting tool, and you're going to want to stop cut all the way around the edges. You're going to want to stop cut so that you can, this is going to help you to create a really good edge. When you run your gouges up against that stop cut, your project, your piece will actually the piece will just come right off. So that's really helpful. You just want to make sure you have a really good stop cut at the end. When you come to the bottom of that stop cut, you want to continue on with another stop cut, another stop cut, another stop cut. And as you can see, with a thicker piece of wood, you want to take out a lot of wood, and that's what those gouges are good for. You want to take out a lot of that wood so that the next layer, you're really trying to create layers when you're doing a project like this. You really want to bring the sky back, or the mountain range back, or whatever is at the top of the picture. Really want to bring that back so that this part can come out, so that the bottom part of it can really pop out of the picture. That kind of what makes wood carving neat. So after you get all of your layers, you can go through and look back at your picture for the details, and you can use your V tools are going to be really helpful in putting details back in. Usually detail doesn't take that much depth. It just takes some extra lines and maybe some pounding with the different kinds of tools for bark and stuff like that. So it's really not too bad to put details back in. But make sure, again, with you want your picture so that you can go back, you know where to put your details in and what details you need to put back in. That's what really is helpful about having a picture of one that's already finished, a project that's already finished, instead of just a photograph. Once you get better, you can definitely use photographs. So to finish your project, once you have all your layers and all your details put back in, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to put a wax over it so that it stays good. It doesn't crack with the weather and dry out and stuff. So you can use a plain wax. If you are doing spoons, bowls, platters, stuff that's going to be used to eat, make sure it's food safe. Any butcher block oil will do for those kinds of things. Otherwise, these types of waxes are really good. You can get waxes with stains, without stains. Either kind is really good. Just kind of depends on what you want to do, if you want to keep the natural color of the wood or not. So you're going to want to rub that all over your painting, or I'm sorry, your project. You're going to want to go all over your project, and then take a paper towel, use a paintbrush, an old paintbrush, all over it. Take a paper towel, wipe it off. Wipe off all of that. That will leave the darkness in all the creases and edges, and you'll have a great project, a great finished project. So make sure you clean up after yourself. Make sure you sweep away all the shavings and put your tools away. That's the best way to keep them sharp too. So hopefully this is something that you can learn to enjoy too.